The GoPro Hero 11 Black is totally jam-packed full of great features, and one of the exciting new additions to this year's version is Ultra Slo Mo. Ultra Slo Mo allows you to capture footage up to 240 frames per second. Using Ultra Slo Mo on the GoPro Hero is super easy, and in this video I'm going to show you how. Normally, video is recorded at 24 to 30 frames per second, with most cameras filming at 30 frames per second. However, using a higher frame rate is going to result in smoother looking footage because your camera is capturing more images per second. This is especially important if you plan to slow down your footage. With a higher frame rate, you can do so without losing on any video quality. Slow motion is often used in a video to make it look more professional or cinematic, and it can also add greater interest to your story. It can be used to highlight or capture finer details in your footage that may be overlooked if that video is played at regular speed. Alright, so accessing Ultra Slo Mo from the GoPro is super easy. So from the main screen, you want to make sure you're on the video option, and then you want to tap on the oblong down the bottom, and here's all our different video options, but the very bottom one here says Ultra Slo Mo. So we find Ultra Slo Mo, and then over here on the right we're going to tap on the pencil. Okay, so now the pencil is going to bring up this menu here, the Ultra Slo Mo menu. So we're going to tap here where it says frame rate and resolution. Now it brings you to this menu here, and you can see the top left hand corner or the top row, we have the aspect ratio. So what you want to do is you want to choose what resolution you like. So for example, if I say I would choose 5.3, and then what it does, it actually shows you which frame rate options currently exist for that resolution. The highest frame rate for a 5.3K is 60 frames per second, because you can see how the other ones over here down the bottom are actually grayed out a little bit. And these ones here are the ones you can choose, like 60, you can choose 30, or you can choose 24. For 4K, you have a few more options. So with 4K, we have 24, 30, 60 frames per second, but also we have up to 120 frames per second. If we scoot down to 2.7K, we have even more options. So we have 60 frames, 120, and this time we even have 240 frames per second available to us. And the same applies at 1080, and that's if you're shooting at 16.9 for your aspect ratio. 5.3 at 4.3 aspect ratio, the frame rate, the maximum frame rate you could have it to is 30 frames per second. See how we can't actually go any higher. 4K is set to 60, and 2.7 is up to 120. At 5.3K, the maximum frame rate we have is 30 frames per second, but if we slip it down to 4K, we can have it up to 60 frames per second. Alright, so here's a really cool option where you can change the frame rates that are available to you when you're filming with the GoPro Hero 11. From the main screen, the main rear screen, we want to swipe down. So down, across, preferences, general. From general, we are going to scroll down to where it says anti-flicker down here. We're going to tap on that one. Now it has two different options available to you. It has 60 Hertz, which is normally the frequency you use when you're broadcasting on the NTSC TV system, which is used in North America and South America and parts of Asia. And the other option here is that 60 Hertz was one for NTSC, and then the other option is 50 Hertz, which is which relates to the PAL system, of televisions, which is used in many places in Europe, like the UK and Australia and New Zealand, amongst other countries. So if you change that anti-flicker rate to say from 60 down to 50, and then you kind of go back out here to your Ultra Slo Mo, and we'll tap on that option there, we'll tap on the oblong. Now if we have a look here, tap the pencil, and now if we have a look here at our frame rates and our resolution, you'll see how we have some different options available. So for example, we still have 24, like we had on the 60 hertz setting, but now we have 25, we have 50, we have 100, and if you scoot it up to 2.7, you can this time go up to 200 frames per second. One thing to remember though is if you are shooting at a higher frame rate, less light will be hitting the camera's sensor as the shutter is open for a shorter time. This means your footage may look dark and grey. To prevent this from happening, make sure you shoot at higher frame rates during brighter times of the day, or use a good light source if it's starting to get dark. So from the main screen, or from the main rear screen, we want to tap on the oblong down the bottom. Then you want to tap on what video mode you're choosing. So I like cinematic, so I'm going to tap on the pencil next to him. And then down the bottom, I'm just going to scroll down until we get shortcuts over here. So I want to use slow-mo as lower right, as my lower right shortcut. So I'm going to tap on that one there. And look down here, see how the second option is slow-mo. If you look up close there, you can even see it has a little snail on there too. So if we tap on that, now what we do now is we now go back to our main screen. We can tap over here on the right hand side. You can see I've got 2x at the moment. Okay, so if I tap on that, what that does is that brings up my slow-mo options. So it's currently shooting at 4K at 60 frames per second, but I can actually move it up to 4 frames per second just using the slider, or even put it back to normal speed at 24 frames per second, or I can put it up to 30 frames per second there if I wish. 3 great tips for filming with higher frame rates. Avoid shooting in dull or low light. Get close to your subject. And always try to keep your camera as stable as possible. Using a tripod is a great idea. Ultra Slo Mo is a really awesome feature if you just want to slow down some of life's faster or crazier or most exciting moments to capture every little detail. It's one of the many awesome features on the GoPro Hero. But to learn more about this awesome camera, you want to check out this video over here right now. As usual, thanks for your company, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, not my car! Ugh.